project by using monolith architecture, or we have implemented by using microservices architecture. Guys, we have implemented our project by using monolith architecture, or we have implemented using microservices architecture, our major project. Could you please respond? We followed monolith architecture, or we followed microservices architecture? We followed microservices architecture. Monolith architecture means if we develop all the functionalities in single application, then it is called as monolith architecture. If we develop monolith means all the functionalities will be implemented in single project. If we implement all the functionalities in single project, then it is called as monolith application. Monolith architecture means all the functionalities will be implemented in single project. Microservices architecture means project functionalities will be divided into multiple REST APIs. Microservices means all the functionalities will be divided into multiple REST APIs. Okay, monolith means all the functionalities will be implemented in the single project. Microservices means all the functionalities will be divided into multiple REST APIs. Currently microservices architecture is trending in the market. Currently microservices architecture is trending in the IT industry. Most of the applications we are going to develop by using microservices architecture. Microservices is not a technology, it is a design pattern. Microservices is not a framework. Microservices is not a framework. It is architectural design pattern. It is architectural design pattern to develop APIs with loosely coupling, to develop applications with loosely coupling, right? Any technology can use microservices architecture, right? If you go for microservices, they are loosely coupled, easy maintenance, fast development, quick releases. All these things are the advantages of going for microservices architecture. So in the IT industry, when the client has given the requirement to us, we can develop the client requirement in two ways. One is by using monolith architecture. Second one is by using microservices architecture. Monolith architecture will be available, microservice architecture will be available. Monolith architecture means all the functionalities will be implemented in single project. Monolith means all the functionalities will be implemented in the single project. Microservices means all the functionalities will be divided into multiple REST APIs. So currently microservices architecture is trending in the IT industry. Currently microservices architecture is trending in the IT industry. Microservices is not a framework, it is architectural design pattern to develop applications with loosely coupling. Okay, what are the advantages of going for microservices? The advantages with microservices is loosely coupling. So one REST API will be loosely coupled with another REST API. Every REST API will have a limited functionality. Every REST API will have a limited functionality in the microservices. So easily you can understand the microservices development. Advantages with microservices. So as we discussed, there are several advantages are available. development is loosely coupled because we are not going to develop everything in the single project. One API will contain one limited functionality. That deployment, that maintenance of the API will be very easy. Loosely coupling will be available. Easy maintenance will be available. Development also can be faster because we are not going to develop the whole project at a time. We are going to develop one API and we are going to deliver that API to the client. We are not going to develop the entire project to deliver. We are going to develop only one API and we can deliver. Faster development will be available. Quick releases also will be available. At the same time, there are some challenges with microservices also. There are some challenges with microservices also. Sir, what are the challenges available with microservices? Yes, the first challenge is bounded context. What is the first challenge? Bounded context. Bounded context, nothing but for the given requirement, how many REST APIs we have to create? Client has given a requirement. So for client has given 100 requirements. For 100 requirements, are we going to create 100 REST APIs? For 100 requirements, are we going to create the 50 REST APIs? How to understand that? How many REST APIs we need to develop and what functionality we need to develop in the each REST API? Understanding that part is a difficult process. Understanding that part is a difficult process. Okay, bounded context. How many REST APIs should be developed for our requirements? Understanding that is the difficult task. Understanding that is the difficult task. Are you guys able to follow this? Are you guys able to follow this? Right? Bounded context is the problem. Second problem is duplicate configuration. Duplicate configuration. Suppose if I want to configure actuators in the project, in all the REST APIs I have to configure. I have to configure Kafka in my APIs. In all the APIs we need to do the Kafka configuration. Okay, my APIs want to communicate with the database. In every API you need to write the configuration. So as we are developing the application as microservice architecture, multiple APIs will be available. So how many APIs we need to develop for our application? Understanding that is the problem, bounded context. And the second problem, duplicate configuration. Suppose my APIs want to communicate with the database. So in every API you need to do database configuration. In every API you need to do database configuration. Are you clear with my point? The next one is visibility problem will be there. Visibility means you may not understand all the APIs available in the project. You may not understand all the APIs available in the project because you may get the chance to work with only first 3 APIs. Then you will know the functionality of these 3 APIs only. You don't know what is the functionality of the remaining 3 APIs. So when you go for this microservices architecture, that visibility problem also will be there. Are you guys able to understand what are the advantages with the microservices architecture and what are the disadvantages with the microservices architecture? So project can be implemented in 2 ways. One is by using monolith architecture. Project can be implemented in 2 ways. One is by using monolith architecture and the second one is by using microservices architecture. Monolith means all the functionalities will be implemented in the single project. Microservices means all the functionalities will be divided into multiple REST APIs. Currently, microservices architecture is trending in the IT industry. Microservices is not a framework, it is architectural design pattern to develop application with loosely coupling. So if you are going to implement your project with the microservices architecture, there are some challenges available, there are some advantages also available. Advantages are application will be loosely coupled because REST APIs will be available. For every functionality, a REST API will be available. It is a separate project, will be packaged as a separate WAR file. will be running in the separate server. One REST API will be loosely coupled with another REST API. Every REST API will be running as a separate project. Okay, easy maintenance. Tomorrow I want to make some changes. We are going to make the changes to particular REST API. Only that particular REST API we are going to deploy. Maintenance of the API will become easy. As we are developing a limited functionality in the API, development also will be faster. Immediately within 1 month of time, I can complete one API with the requirements understanding, gathering, analysis, design, development, testing, deployment, delivery. One API can be done within 1 or 2 months of time. You no need to wait years of time to complete the project. When you go for monolith architecture, we need to wait for the years of time to complete the project, because everything we are going to develop in the single project, in the monolith architecture, the whole project development may take 2 years of time or 3 years of time. But that is outdated approach to develop the project. Nowadays, people are developing the project with the microservices architecture. Right? Loosely coupled, easy maintenance, fast development, quick releases will be available with the microservices architecture. Now, what are the challenges with the microservices architecture? Bounded context. Bounded context means deciding how many REST APIs we need to develop for our project. Now, let's talk about our HIS application. There are several modules are available. How many REST APIs we need to develop for that? Understanding that is a little challenging thing. So you need to do proper analysis and you need to decide which functionality should be developed in which REST API. You need to do proper analysis on the request, and you need to understand how many REST APIs we need to develop, and what is the duplicate configuration. What is the duplicate configuration? Nothing but in my REST APIs I want to communicate with the database. In my REST APIs I want to communicate with the database. If we want to communicate with the database, then what we should do? Then what should we do? If we want to communicate with the database, then we need to write the DB configuration in all the REST APIs. That is a duplicate configuration. We are going to do. Next one is visibility. What is the visibility? Now, if you are working in the microservices architecture project, will you understand all the APIs in your project? Will you understand all the APIs available in your project? Will you get the chance to work with all the APIs in the project? Will you get the chance to work with all the APIs in the project? No. You will not get that chance. I am the best example. I am working for a banking application, credit card system. We have 150 APIs in the project. In the 150 APIs, from last 3 years, I worked on almost 50 to 60 APIs, not 150. That means I don't know what is the functionality of 100 APIs in my project. Are you getting the clarity? My project is having 150 APIs. Out of the 150 APIs, I am working on 50 APIs. My project is having 150 APIs. Out of the 150 APIs, I don't know what is the functionality of the 100 APIs, because I did not get the chance to work on them. I got the work related to 50 APIs. I have the clarity on the 50 APIs functionality. So, as a microservices developer, you may not get the total visibility on your project. So, which API you will develop, that API functionality only you can understand. So, the total project functionality you may not know when you are working on microservices project, until unless you don't work on all the APIs. This is also one of the challenging thing in the microservices. Guys, are you able to understand what is monolith, what is microservices, what are the advantages with the microservices, and what are the challenges with the microservices? Very good. Now, let us see how people will follow this microservices architecture to develop the project. How people will follow microservices architecture to develop the project. Now, we have developed several APIs, guys. We have a API called Plans API is available for admin, where admin can create the plan, admin can retrieve the plan, admin can what admin can do, create the plans, update the plans, retrieve the plans, delete the plans. Plans API is available for us. Next one, user management API is available. It is used to manage the case workers. Now see here, admin module is there. Am I developing one API for one REST API for complete admin module, or I am developing two APIs for admin module? Plans API is available, which is used to manage the plans supported by government. And one API is available to manage user management functionality, create the user, login in the user, forget password, recover password. All these things are done in the user management. So this is a bounded context. Some people may think that for admin, we will develop one REST API. But am I developing one REST API for the admin? I'm developing two REST APIs for the admin module. In the admin module, we can do two things in our project. Admin can handle the plans in the application. Admin can handle user management in the application. So, am I creating one API for the admin module, or I'm creating two APIs for the admin module? I'm creating two APIs. So, this comes based on the experience, because there is no relation between accounts management and plans management, but both are belongs to one module. Plans can be managed by administrator. User management can done by administrator. Both are two different functionalities which is managing by admin. As both are managing by admin, can we keep both in one REST API? No, we should not do that. So I am separating that admin module functionality into two REST APIs. That is what I told you. When you go for the microservices, you may get a bounded context problem. Bounded context means understanding how many APIs we need to develop for the given requirement. So as I am having some experience, I am able to realize that plans is one functionality, user management is one functionality, both are independent functionalities. When both are independent functionalities, why to develop in one REST API? Let us develop them two REST APIs. Let us develop two REST APIs for them. So with that maturity, I'm able to develop the two REST APIs. That means whatever the bounded context problem is there, I'm able to overcome that problem with my experience. You should also come to that stage. When you look at the requirement, you need to understand, do we need to develop this functionality in one REST API, or do we need to develop this functionality in two REST APIs? You should be able to decide that. That is called bounded context. Right. So now, in the admin module, admin can manage the plans, admin can manage the user accounts. As admin is doing both, I'm not keeping them in one API. For plans, I have developed one API called Plans API. Plans API is available, one REST API. For user management, I have taken another REST API. For AR module, I have taken one REST API. For AR module, I have taken one REST API. For a DC module, I have taken one REST API. For ED module, I have taken one REST API. For CO module, I have taken one REST API. For reports module, I have taken one REST API. You see here, I have developed multiple REST APIs in this project. I have developed multiple REST APIs in this project. So we can call these APIs as backend APIs. We can call these APIs as backend APIs. Now, all these APIs are belongs to single project, or these are belongs to multiple projects. Whatever the APIs I have developed here, all these are belongs to single application or multiple applications. These all are belongs to single application, but they developed as multiple REST APIs. Every REST API is working as a separate project, will be deployed into separate server. Every project will be developed as a separate REST API. Every functionality is developed as a separate REST API, and it is going to run in a separate server. These are several projects, but belongs to one application. What is our application? Health insurance system. Integrated health insurance system is our application. Integrated health insurance system is our application. Health insurance system is our application, but I developed this application by using microservices architecture. So several APIs are available. These APIs are developed using microservices architecture. Now, All these APIs are connecting to one database, or these APIs are connecting to multiple databases. All these APIs are connecting to one database, or all these APIs are connecting to multiple databases. All these APIs are connecting to one database. Which database we are using? MySQL DB. Where we have created this MySQL DB? We have created this MySQL DB AWS Cloud RDS. AWS RDS. So we have used one cloud database with AWS by using RDS service in the AWS. MySQL DB we are using. Now all the APIs are connecting to same database. All these APIs are connecting to same database. All these APIs are connecting to same database. So my project is having single database to perform operations. So can all the APIs connected to single database? Can all the APIs connected to single database? Yes or no? All the databases can connect to single database. Guys, now can we say that in every API we are writing data source properties? Can we say that in every API we are writing data source properties? Can I say that it is a duplicate configuration? Can I say that it is a duplicate configuration? Can we avoid that? Is it possible to avoid that? Is it possible to avoid the duplicate configuration? Every API want to communicate with the database. If every API want to communicate with the database, then you need to configure data source properties in every API. You can't avoid that. So it is a known issue. It is a known issue. I told you, when you go for microservices, you need to do the duplicate configuration. Now my APIs want to communicate with the database. So in every API, I need to configure data source properties. Then my APIs will communicate with the single database, because there are several tables available. Multiple APIs want to share the data from the same table. DC API will store the data into DC table. ED API want to use the DC table data. CO API also want to use the DC table data. Right? Reports API want to use ED table data. Like this, there are multiple APIs available. Those APIs want to communicate with the single database. Okay. Fine. With this we have developed our APIs, and our APIs are tested properly. And one more thing, duplicate configuration. I want to configure Swagger for my API for documentation. Can I configure Swagger at one place, or I need to configure Swagger in all places? Can I configure Swagger in one API, or do I need to configure Swagger in all the APIs? Swagger will be configured in only one API, or we need to configure Swagger in all the APIs? All the APIs. So can I say it is also a duplicate configuration? Can I say that Swagger is also a duplicate configuration? Can I say that data source properties is a duplicate configuration? Can we avoid this duplicate configuration issue? No. You have to accept this challenge if you are going to work with microservices, because we are not developing all the functionalities in one project. We are developing the functionality in several APIs. Several APIs we are creating for single application. That means you need to do some duplicate configurations in all the APIs. Okay. Now currently our APIs don't have a security. I want to secure my APIs. Guys, I want to secure my APIs. Do you want me to write the security for all the APIs? Or we should write the security at one place? I want to secure APIs. Do you want me to implement the security logic in every API, or we need to implement the security at one place so that it is applicable for all the APIs? Which one is recommended? Writing the security in all the APIs is recommended. Writing the security at one place is recommended. Writing the security at one place is recommended. Right. Now, here, guys, in our application, there are several APIs are available. Now, how you will understand how many APIs are running? What is the status of each API? So we don't know currently. We have just developed these APIs in our system. We have tested. After that, you don't know how many APIs are currently running. We don't know how many APIs are currently running. So whenever we are following the microservices architecture, we are going to use one concept called service registry. So what are the services or what are the APIs available in our application? All those APIs will be registered with the service registry. So there is a server called Eureka server, which is from Spring Cloud, that we can use as a service registry for our application. Now, what should happen is all the APIs available in our application should register with the service registry. Service registry is nothing but DB of services. Service registry is nothing but a DB of services. That means what all the services available in our application, those services we can, what all the services available in our application, those services we can understand. We can get the details of all the services by using this service registry. We are going to use Eureka server as a service registry. We are going to understand Eureka server as a, we are going to use Eureka server as a service registry. Sir, why our services should be registered with the service registry? If our services registered with the service registry, we can see all the services at one place. What is the name of the service? What is the URL of the service? What is the status of the service? All these details we can see at one place by using this service registry. So the APIs which are registering with the service registry are called as Eureka clients. So here service registry application is going to use Eureka server, and the APIs which are available in our application, they are going to work with, they are going to register with the service registry. The APIs which are registering with the service registry are called as Eureka clients. The APIs which are registering with the service registry are called as Eureka clients. Are you able to understand my point? What is Eureka client and Eureka server? Are you able to understand my project point? What is Eureka server and what is Eureka client? The REST API which is registering with the Eureka server, the backend REST APIs we have developed. The backend REST APIs will be registering with the Eureka server, so they are called as Eureka clients. What is this Eureka server will do? This Eureka server will provide the details of Eureka clients. What is the Eureka client name? Nothing but backend API. What is the status of the client and what is the URL of the client? All the details of the APIs can be observed in the Eureka server. Now, can we allow the people to access our APIs directly? Can we allow the public users to access our backend APIs directly? Simple. Let's understand. These are the APIs available, right? Let's assume that these APIs are equal to the rooms in your house: hall, master bedroom, children's bedroom, kitchen, dining hall, right? Now, can we allow the people into all the rooms of your house directly? Can you allow the people into all the rooms of your house directly? Can everybody enter into all the rooms in your house? Or you need to have a single entry point for your house? We will have one main door to enter into our house. So similarly, people can access all the APIs directly, or we need to provide a single entry point to access our APIs. Do we need to allow the people to access our APIs directly in the backend, or we need to provide a single entry point to access our APIs? We need to provide single entry point to access our API. So that's where API gateway concept comes into picture for our microservices. What is the concept comes into picture for our microservices, guys? API gateway concept comes into picture for our microservices. What is the API gateway? Spring Cloud Gateway concept is available, guys. Spring Cloud provided one gateway. Earlier we used to work with Joule proxy, but in the recent versions of the Spring, they have removed the support for the Joule proxy and they have added a concept called Cloud Gateway. They have added a concept called Cloud Gateway. So Cloud Gateway is also going to register with the service registry. Cloud Gateway also will register with the service registry. Now here this is our backend application. Microservices architecture we are following to develop our backend application. Guys, observe, we have a database. The database we have created in the AWS cloud by using RDS. We have a database in the cloud. We have created the database in the cloud by using RDS service. Right. And we have developed several backend REST APIs for our functionality. So based on the requirement, we understood how many APIs we need to develop and we have developed those APIs. APIs are communicating with the single database. APIs are having inter-service communication. APIs are having Swagger configuration for testing purpose. So we have developed our APIs. Now, it is very important to understand how many APIs are available in our application, what is the names of those APIs, what is the status of those APIs, what are the URLs of those APIs. For that purpose, all the APIs we are registering in a service registry. Now, what we can say that it is DB of APIs, DB of APIs, database of APIs. So all the APIs which are available in our application we can get from this service registry. Service registry will provide the details of all the APIs, name of the API, status of the API, URL of the API. All the APIs you can get from this service registry, which is Eureka. Eureka is a server provided by Spring Cloud. Eureka is a server provided by Spring Cloud. By using Eureka server, we can understand what all the services available in our application. We can understand what all the services available in our application. Okay, service registry. The next one. So APIs are developed in the backend. Backend REST APIs are developed. Those backend APIs are communicating with the database. Those backend APIs are registering with the service registry. So by using this service registry, we can understand what all the APIs available in our application, what are the names of the APIs, what are the statuses of the APIs, what are the URLs of the APIs we can get from service registry. Eureka server provided by Spring Cloud, that Eureka server we can use as a service registry. All the services will be registered with the Eureka. Tomorrow, if you want to see what are the APIs available in your project, you see the service registry application. Service registry application will give you the details of all the APIs in your project. Okay, next one. Now, we have developed APIs in the backend. Can we allow the public users to access all the APIs at a time? Can we allow the public users to access all the APIs at a time? Or we need to provide a single entry point to access all our APIs? Are we going to allow the public users to access all the APIs? Are we going to allow the public users to access all the APIs at a time? Or we need to provide the single entry point to access our APIs? We don't want to allow the people to access all the APIs because it is difficult to manage the security for that. It is difficult to manage the security too. It is difficult to understand. It is difficult to manage. If you give access for our APIs directly, it is going to become very difficult if we give access for all these APIs to the public users. We will never expose our backend APIs URLs to the public users directly. Even for UI also, we are not going to expose the backend API URLs directly. In order to manage the backend APIs, we are going to use a concept called API gateway. So any request which is coming to our application should come from one place, that is called API gateway. API gateway is a single entry point to access backend APIs of our application. In the backend, I can have 20 APIs, I can have 30 APIs, order to access any API in our application, that request should come from API gateway. API gateway is going to act as single entry point to manage our APIs. Okay, there are some free API gateways are available. There are some commercial API gateways also available. What is the free API gateway we have in the Spring Cloud? Cloud Gateway. What is the free gateway is available? Cloud Gateway is free for us. Cloud Gateway is free for us. Now, for our application, UI also will be available. UI application will be available for our application. For every application, UI will be available. UI app will be available. Now, UI app is going to send a request to the API gateway. API gateway is going to send the response to the UI. UI application will be available. Now, who will access this UI application? End user is going to access our UI application. End user is going to access our UI application. So now, when end user access the UI application is accessing the backend APIs directly, or UI application is going to access API gateway. UI application is accessing API gateway, or UI application is accessing backend APIs directly. Can you tell me? Can you tell me? UI is accessing the backend APIs directly, or UI is accessing API gateway? API gateway. Why UI is accessing API gateway? API gateway is used to secure all the APIs in the backend. API gateway is a single entry point for the backend APIs. Any request which is coming to our application should come to API gateway. API gateway will decide how that request should be processed. In the API gateway, we are going to create filters. In the API gateway, we are going to create filters plus routings. API gateway will contain filters plus routing. Sir, what is the meaning of filters and routing? Whenever a request comes, API gateway will decide whether to process that request or not. Whenever a request comes to the API gateway from UI, that request which comes from UI to the API gateway will understand is that request is a valid request or not. Is that request is a valid request or not? That logic we can check by using that request, whether the request coming to the API, whether request coming from the UI to the API gateway, is that request is a valid request or not? We can filter that by using a filter concept in the API gateway. If the request is not a valid request, if it is not secured request, then API gateway will reject that request processing. API gateway will send the error response to the UI. Are you able to understand my point? Are you able to understand my point? Come on. Filter is used to validate the request. Filters we are going to write to validate the request. Whatever the request is coming to our application, backend application, is that request is valid request or not? We can verify by using filter. If the request is not based on some tokens, we are going to verify. Based on some tokens, we are going to verify that request is valid request or not. Based on the tokens, we are going to verify that request is a valid request or not. Based on the token, we are going to verify that request is a valid request or not by writing a filter. Now, if the request is not valid, like UI, from the UI request is coming to the filter without a token. The request is coming without a token. So who is receiving the request? Request is going to the backend API directly, or request is coming to API gateway? Request is going to the backend API directly. Request is coming to the API gateway. Request is coming to API gateway. API gateway to execute a filter for every request. Pre-filter. Pre-filter nothing but before processing the request, that filter is going to execute. Before, whenever request comes to this, now you want to access AR API. You cannot access the AR API directly. You need to send a request from the UI to backend API gateway. API gateway is going to check your request. Is your request is valid or not by executing a filter. By executing a filter. If your request is valid, if API gateway identifies your request is valid, then API gateway will execute routing. What is the meaning of routing? Routing is used to tell which request should go to which API. This request should go to AR API, or it should go to DC API, or it should go to ED, or it should go to CO, or it should go to reports. The request should belongs to which API in the backend, that is the routing. Now you see, if you go for a make my trip application, there are several functionalities are available in the make my trip application. When user click on flights, it should get the only flights data. When you click on search, the request should go and search the flights data. Flights will have one API. Now if you click on hotels, and if you click on search, that request should go to hotels API. That means from the UI, when we are getting a request from the UI, that request should go to which API, that we have to understand. Got my point, guys? Filters plus routings will be available. Alright guys, now here filters will be available. Filters are used to validate the request and the response. Whatever the request we are sending to the whatever the request we are getting from the UI, what is the response we are sending to the UI, that request and response can be validated by using filters in the gateway. Whatever the request we are getting and whatever the response we are sending, that request and response can be validated by using gateway. Request and response can be validated by using gateway filters. Next one, what is the routing? Can you tell me what is the routing? What is the purpose of routing, guys? What is the purpose of routing? Which request should go to which API in the backend? So if the request is coming to AR module, if the request is coming from the UI to the AR API, that request should go to AR API and it should get processed by the AR API. If the request is coming to reports API, that request should go to reports API, it should be processed by the reports API. So which request should go to which API, we need to configure by using routings. Based on the URL patterns, we are going to configure the routing. Now you see, in the make my trip, observe the URL patterns clearly. When I click on search, they are sending flight in the URL pattern or not. That URL contains a flight, text flight is available in the URL. If the URL contains a flight in the URL, if the flight text is there in the URL, then that request should go to flight API. When you click on hotels, can you see, whenever I click on hotels, can you see that in the URL hotels is available? The text hotels is available. When you click on trains, click on search. In that URL, railways is available. So whenever you access particular functionality in the make my trip, for everything they are having a unique URL pattern. Based on that URL pattern, we can configure routing. Based on the URL pattern, we are going to configure routing for our application. Are you clear with my point? What is filter and what is routing? Filters are used to handle request and response of our API. Routing is used to forward the request to particular backend API. The request which is coming from the UI, that request will be validated by using API gateway. Once if request is validated, if the request is valid request, then that request will be routed to the particular API by using routing's concept in the cloud gateway. Now here, if you see this application, this is called as front end part of the application, and this is called as back end part of the application. Front end part of the application and back end part of the application. In the back end, we are going to have the database, we will have the REST APIs, we have a service registry, and we have a API gateway. API gateway is used to manage all the APIs in the back end. API gateway is used to manage all the APIs in the back end. Are you clear with my point? Are you clear with my point? API gateway is used to manage all the APIs available in our application. API gateway is going to act as entry point for our APIs. The API gateway sits between client request and backend APIs. So in order to develop the API gateway application, Spring Boot provided cloud gateway concept. Spring framework provided cloud gateway concept. By using cloud gateway, we can manage all the APIs available in the backend. We can write the filters, we can write the routings in that. Filters are used to validate the request and response of our application. Routings are used to route the request to particular backend APIs. Service registry is going to act as a DB of the APIs in the application. All the API details of all the APIs information we can access from service registry. Backend REST APIs are available. All these REST APIs are independent. They are responsible to manage only particular functionality, and all these REST APIs are communicating with database also. Are you getting the clear picture how microservices application will be developed in the real time? Are you getting the picture of microservices development in the real time? Come on. Yes, analyze this. Guys, analyze this. I'm giving you 2 minutes of time. If you have any questions, you note down, and I will take up all your doubts and I will clarify. Give me 2 minutes of time. So note down your doubts.
Pandu legu. Baba.
Yeah. Hi guys, are you able to understand what is this architecture? Are you able to understand what is this microservice architecture? So first we discussed about what is monolith and what is microservice, right? Monolith means everything will be developed in single application. Then it is difficult to manage all the functionality in our application. So that's why we are developing our application by using microservices architecture. Okay, so when we develop the application by using microservices architecture, there are some advantages available and there are some challenges also available. Advantages: loosely coupled, easy maintenance, fast development, quick releases. Challenges will be bounded context, duplicate configuration and visibility. Okay, when it comes to our backend APIs, how we are going to develop our application in the real time, how a microservice application will be developed in the real time. So microservices architecture we are going to follow to develop our applications in the real time. So we have developed several APIs we have developed several APIs in the backend. Those APIs are going to communicate with the database. A single database we are using for all our APIs. Along with these backend APIs will contain the business logic to handle the request. Backend APIs will contain the business logic to handle the requests. Backend APIs will contain business logic. Backend APIs will contain business logic. Then what about service registry? Service registry is used to maintain list of services available in our application. Service registry is used to maintain list of services available